DJ Akademiks official news page, Akademiks TV, sponsored by Steak, compares a Drake joke at the Oscars to the death of Emmett Till. What up, words? Your boy Charles Brown back again talking facts. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell. Keep sending those Cashaps to CLBMG. Gang, listen. This one's going to be a little more serious. I'm not going to try to be too Debbie Downer, but I don't like this. I'm just going to be honest. And what I want to say about this, I know these younger people don't respect things as much as we do, and they don't understand the heaviness of the things they say these days. What I do want to talk about is something that I saw on Twitter, and I'm at a loss for words. And I understand these guys are in a pathetic state of mourning because Drake lost this battle or situation that they're going on, but they're getting to the point where it's not even making any sense. And I think we got to start to reel this stuff in. So let me explain to you what happened. Akademiks TV, which I'm just going to be honest, I cannot stand that page. It's the worst page on the entire internet. I unfollowed them a year ago, and that stuff still pops up on my feed every single day, all day. It is the worst page online. I don't know how this page is allowed to operate like it does, but Akademiks TV, which in the description says official news update channel for the Academy, founded and owned by DJ Akademiks, aka Akademiks, sponsored by Steak. So all of this stuff is wound together. State Gambling, Akademiks TV, and Akademiks, the DJ allegedly, who is all in and of himself a very controversial figure. So somehow, some way, in the middle of trying to cape for Drake, as this page does every single day, and I'm just starting to learn. I always assumed somebody was running this page because Akademiks don't have the time to write all this nonsense. I knew it was somebody else. And when I posted this, people told me that it was some guy named Grand Wizard, right? The Grand Wizard, some weird looking dude, right? I'm just gonna be honest. This guy acts like the stuff he posts, it's like he's 15 years old. It sounds like a child. And I always say that I'm like, it's always a kid writing this stuff. But for some reason, while it's like anything goes now, right? Anything goes. They can say anything about anybody when it's defense of Drake's and LOLs and all this and that, because it's all fun and games, because it's just all to boost the profile of Drake, to boost the profile of online gambling via Stake, and to boost the profile of DJ Akademiks. So I'm going to tell you why I'm mad, son. I'm going to tell you why I'm mad. I look up to read this thing because somebody else reposted it. And it goes, 14-year-old Emmett Till was dragged from his house and was kidnapped, tortured, and lynched by a mob of white people after falsely being accused. Conan O'Brien today accused Drake of raping a minor at the Oscars, and the culture celebrated and laughed. LOL, is this what the culture feeling? Lying on innocent black men. They're trying to tie in Drake with the death of Emmett Till. They're trying to make the equation of Kendrick calling Drake a pedophile and Conan saying this is the time of the show that Kendrick will come out and call Drake a pedophile. They're equating, this page is equating the death of 14-year-old Emmett Till, who was dragged from his house. It wasn't his house. I'm going to tell you the story in a second. But they're equating Drake to Emmett Till. Long story short, this page, Akademiks TV, literally is the worst page on Twitter. The takes are always awful. It's always ridiculous. Incendiary, gaslighting takes. Most of it is conjecture. Most of it's wrong. Most of it's outright lies, outright, flat out untruths. But this one, gang, this one bothered me. I'm just going to be honest. It bothered me. I'm going to read to you just real quick, while I got you, who Emmett Till was and why this is upsetting. Because these kids think everything's a joke, right? They can play with anything because they don't understand it. They wasn't there. They didn't see the pain of this thing. They don't understand where this comes from. So they can LOL and say Drake is like Emmett Till, right? This is how dumb it's getting in society. I understand you got a head chief in charge who can say and do anything, lie about anything, do anything, so the whole world can do anything. You got a South African telling Americans they got to tell him 5 things they did or they getting fired. I know it's a crazy world. I know it. I know it's crazy. right? You got dudes that lose a rap battle, then they suing everybody all over, just suing everybody because they lost a rap battle. I know it sounds crazy, but I want to talk about Emmett Till because we're not going to drag him into this silliness that Drake got going on with the internet. Emmett Till, Emmett Louis Till, born July 25th, 1941. He died August 28th, 1955, was a 14-year-old African-American youth who was abducted and lynched in Mississippi in 1955 after being accused of offending a white woman, Carolyn Bryant, in her family's grocery store. The brutality of his murder and the acquittal of his killers drew attention to the long history of violent persecution of African-Americans in the United States. Till was born and raised in Chicago, Illinois during a summer vacation in August 1955. He was visiting relatives near Money, Mississippi in the Mississippi Delta region. Till spoke to 21-year-old Carolyn Bryant, the white married proprietor of the grocery store. Although what happened at the store is a matter of dispute, Till was accused of flirting with, touching, or whistling at Bryant, which we're going to throw in there that she recanted years later, that she said it was a lie and it wasn't true. But let me keep it moving. Till's interaction with Bryant perhaps unwittingly violated the unwritten code of behavior for a black male interacting with a white female in the Jim Crow South era. Now, I don't know what he did. But he didn't deserve this. And this is the problem that I have with this post. People don't understand how sensitive this is. Let me keep it moving. Several nights after the encounter, Bryant's husband Roy and his half-brother J. William Milam, who were armed, went to Till's great-uncle's house and abducted Till, age 14. They beat and mutilated him before shooting him in the head and sinking his body in the Tallahatchie River. 3 days later, Till's mutilated and bloated body was discovered and retrieved from the river. Till's body was returned to Chicago, where his mother insisted on a public funeral. She was brave. She had a funeral with an open casket because she wanted them to see what happened, which was held at Robert's Temple Church of God in Christ. It was later said that the open coffin funeral held by Mammy Till Bradley exposed the world to more than her son Emmett Till's bloated, mutilated body. Her decision focused attention on not only American racism and the barbarism of lynching, but also the limitations of and vulnerabilities of American democracy. Tens of thousands attended his funeral or viewed his open casket, and images of Till's mutilated body were published in Black-oriented magazines and newspapers, rallying popular Black support and white sympathy across the United States. Intense scrutiny was brought to bear on the lack of Black civil rights in Mississippi, with newspapers around the U.S. critical of the state. Although local newspapers and law enforcement officials initially decried the violence against Till and called for justice, they responded to national criticism by defending Mississippians, giving support to the killers. In September 1955, an all-white jury found Bryant and Milam not guilty of Till's murder. Protected against double jeopardy, the two men publicly admitted in a 1956 interview with Look magazine that they had tortured and murdered Till, selling the story of how they did it for $4,000, equivalent to $46,000 in 2024. Till's murder was seen as a catalyst for the next phase of the civil rights movement, and in November 1955, the Montgomery bus boycott began in Alabama and lasted more than a year, resulting eventually in a Supreme Court ruling that segregated buses were unconstitutional. According to historians, events surrounding Till's life and death continue to resonate. So what I want to say is, these people these days don't understand what we were going through and what we went through. They think the world revolves around their favorite rapper, Drake. So this guy, the Grand Wizard, whoever he is, whatever this guy does for a living outside of academics, this guy is a clown and a joke. This page is a clown and a joke. You're trying to make light of this. What he tried to do was he tried to bring in Conan because Conan's white. And he tried to bring in Emmett Till because Emmett Till's Black and Drake is Black, right? He tried to kind of gaslight and twist it in there a little bit so we would all be like, yeah, let's go get Conan. We're not falling for that, gang. Nobody's falling for this nonsense. You're playing with something that's bigger than you, Grand Wizard. And Akademiks lets this stuff slide. See, Akademiks is a sleazeball himself. Akademiks is one of the worst people on earth as well. He's right under Kanye. Trash human beings doing anything to stay relevant online. And Steak is a trash company because they don't care how they get the eyeballs. They're going to take whatever garbage, goofy thing they can do. Slapping steak on this picture is the most disrespectful part about. They slapped steak on a picture of Emmett Till. Let that sink in, gang. They slapped steak across a picture of Emmett Till. They're promoting steak with a picture of Emmett Till. And it's still up right now. I'm not doing no more talking about this. I'm going to let you decide what to do. But this is what it is. This is where we're going. They're using public figures that mean a lot to us to play games and to try to equate Drake's sorry ass getting his ass beat in a battle to Emmett Till being beaten and murdered in Mississippi. I'm out.
Look, mission impossible to drop a few lines without dropping old times when Southern Hill was still a gold mine. When pistol grips was my shit and I sold mine. When Alias was not a show and they told mine.
CLB.